Saturday night, Lakers Nuggets. I've never seen Nikola Jokic look swarmed like that. Like everything was contested. The Lakers didn't appeal to him with size. They just appealed to him with length and covering up passing lanes and everything else. Is that a mark of the Nuggets not being as good as we thought they were? Because I told someone Saturday afternoon, the Nuggets are going to the NBA Finals, or at least the conference finals. Is that a mark of the Nuggets not being as good as I thought? Or does this mean that the Lakers have legit found something in the last month of the season on the defensive end, even adding Luka Doncic and getting rid of Anthony Davis?
Well, let's see, because it's hard for me to believe that whatever you found on defense is the same thing when you switch out Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis, right? Like, I don't feel like you can keep doing the same thing that you was doing with switching those. If those two dudes are interchangeable, boy, Anthony Davis owes some people some money. He has been stealing, if that's the case. What I wonder about, though, as we have watched Denver largely own the Lakers over the last couple of years, if this is a matter of the Lakers have made a significant alteration to what their team is, and this is the first time that Denver is seeing it. So you have that change, plus you add to it that JJ got something going. Like JJ as coach, I don't know how long he's going to be able to do this because he's going to be fried very, very soon. But his ability to do the job and cook stuff up, he seems to be just fine at doing that. And it looks like he may have cooked something up. But I ask you this. Let's say that was game one of a 7-game series. And we started saying the things that you said right then. We would both get on TV if they asked us about it and say the same thing. Hey, it's one game. Now it's time for Mike Malone to make the adjustment, right? Now is that time for him, in theory, right, to make the adjustment. That Denver thing is just a little weird because Mike seemed tired of them being the bosses. The boss seemed tired of him. And if his players were tired of him, I wouldn't be surprised either because I imagine getting tired of Mike Malone ain't that difficult.
It almost feels like you're saying a first-round exit is more likely than a run to the finals.
Oh, but I'm not.
Okay,
See, that's the thing.
Okay.
I think what happened was we just saw them lose a game to a team with a coach for whom, look, at this point, beating the Nuggets meant a lot more to the Lakers than beating the Lakers meant to the Nuggets because the Nuggets have been their true, real, live nemesis.
Yes.
At this point, right?
Yes.
But looking at it right now, if the season ended today, the Nuggets would play the Clippers in the first round. No, I do not think the Clippers are going to beat them in the first round. If it turned into Lakers-Nuggets 4-5, I still don't know what exactly the Luka, LeBron, that whole team combination is going to look like. I don't know. Right?
Yeah.
But I'm not there yet for them. I don't feel like let me tell you something. If JJ can turn them into a very good defensive team with the pieces that they have right now, wow, he should have been coaching 15 years ago.
Look, I'm looking at the numbers now, and this is just from February 1st. This is the day that they played the Knicks, and we all knew what happened after that, all hell breaking loose. That was without, so basically anything without Anthony Davis in these 9 games, and keep in mind, small sample size, holding teams to 42% from the field, 43% from the field, rather. That's first in that stretch or second in that stretch behind the Brooklyn Nets. Holding teams to 33 from 3. That's a pretty good number for perimeter defense. If you're holding teams to 33%, that's critical. Point differential plus 10 points a game. Now, granted, you played Charlotte, who you lost to. You played the Utah Jazz 2 times, who you've lost to. And then you played these other teams that have different iterations. Remember, they played Golden State in that TNT game. They were blowing them out. Then Golden State came back, and it was pretty much academic. Like, it's hard to figure out if this is very sustainable or if this is a matter of, this new team has gotten together. LeBron has found this sort of life, this energy life force that he tends to find right around the playoffs, right before the playoffs. I don't know if all this is sustainable, not just for the next month, Bo, but for 1 playoff round, 2 playoff round, 3 playoff rounds. Like, it's not just each individual thing. It's a culmination of it. It's the stamina that goes into this, the concentration that goes into this. I don't know if I see the Lakers doing that, but I'm impressed with what they've done so far.
Yes, I think that is maybe the best way to put it. And I think for me, the thing that's most recently in my head is losing to Charlotte, which was just kind of a yikes, right? Because you're right, it has been, I will say this run of teams since the trade, it has been a very interesting mix of what the NBA is, because you're right. It's 2 games against the Jazz. They got to play the Hornets. They got to play the Trailblazers, but they also beat the Warriors. They also beat the Nuggets. They also beat the Clippers. They also beat the Knicks, and the Knicks are a weird situation right now. The question I ask you, as somebody who knows more about these things than I do, is this regular season defense, or is this a defense that's going to carry to the playoffs? And I ask that because what the Hornets did down the stretch against them was they just hunted Luka Doncic over and over and over again. Like, the problem that the Knicks have is they got 2 zeros on defense that you can just hunt every time down the floor. And it just so happens to be their 2 best offensive players. But you can go hunt those dudes every time down the floor. I can't blame Mikal Bridges and nobody else but so much. It doesn't change the fact that Karl Towns don't guard nobody. It don't change the fact that Jalen Brunson don't guard nobody, right? These are intractable circumstances. What can they do to stop Luka from being hunted all the time? And as the playoffs go on and there's more wear and tear, how much do teams hunt LeBron?
That's the other thing. You can't have 2 guys that you're going to hunt. Now, it's easier to hide LeBron because, A, he doesn't play at the point of attack and he doesn't play at the rim, right?
Yes.
Like, when you're talking about the Knicks, you can't hide Towns and you can't hide Jalen Brunson because one guy's at the point of attack and one guy's supposed to defend the rim. And if you got 2 of those guys, if you got problems with both of those positions, that's where you got problems. That's why I'm not gonna fix my mouth to say this phrase, Nick, Bo, but I'm fixing my mouth to say this phrase. If the New York Knicks and the Detroit Pistons play in the first round of the playoffs, the Knicks going home.
Oh yeah.
Because if it's 2 things that team got, they're going to run. They got somebody at the point of attack that's going to punish you, and they've got 2 dudes at the rim that's going to wear you out. And I don't know if it's a lot of teams that's necessarily built like that and have youth on their side, but the Knicks, to me, that's a problem. Like, that is screaming out, man, we're going to have issues in the playoffs, even though we're more talented offensively than we've been the last couple of years. We've got monster big holes defensively. And then for the Lakers, you can hunt Luka as long as Luka can give it to you on the other end. Luka can still make you pay, right? And Luka made Denver pay in a way that he hadn't made anybody pay up until this point. And he's always been pretty handsy, right? That contributes to the foul trouble and everything else. But he's also got a really good set of hands, so he can get some steals, he can get in the passing lane, everything else. It's a chance I would not be willing to take for multiple playoff rounds. It's a chance I'm not willing to take if it's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And I'll tell you this, Bo, for whatever reason, it's 2 things I want to bring up to you, and I want to see where you land on this. A, it's been a really interesting and incredible NBA season so far. Like, we just get so inundated with the nonsense. We get inundated with the Jimmy Butler stuff, inundated with Joel Embiid, who we're going to talk about later, inundated with all the stuff on the outside. I feel like it's been a really good season. And secondly, why does nobody respect the Oklahoma City Thunder just because they're young? They got some playoff scars. It's time for them to grow up.
Yeah, for me, the issue with the Thunder was that they were tall but not big. And they went and got Big Lurch from New York.
Yeah, they did.
I think that's like, am I saying that our Isaiah Hartenstein fixes everything? That feels a bit extreme. But I do think that he offers a sturdy presence there. That when it's just Chet and Jalen Williams, that ain't enough.
Right? 7 foot tall, and that's all.
Yeah. Like, that's not enough. Hartenstein gives them an extra element there. And of course, because Chet can take his game inside and out, it becomes helpful. And where Chet's a shot blocker, where Hartenstein is a rim protector, not those are not necessarily interchangeable terms.
Right.
So I see where it is that you are coming from, because they do have the scars. But do they have scars, or do they got a scar? Like, I feel like they got a scar. And I think the question that you're asking is a scar enough? The counterpoint is, who are these other teams that's supposed to be better than them? Are you counting on Memphis? Because I'm not.
Nope.
I'm just not.
Nope.
Denver, I mean, they are champions. They're in their own space. I'm not counting on the Lakers. I don't exactly know what to do with Houston. That's the team I think I have kind of the widest variance of potential outcomes for.
Next year. That's all I'm saying with Houston. Next year.
Well, whenever it gets to the place that they can fully say, and I was when they played the Knicks the other night, once they can fully say, I'm in, Thompson, this is yours. Terrifying sort of situation. You're right. But
Problems.
I also but here's something let's look at the play-in teams. Okay. Mm-hmm. Minnesota, who I just don't think has it this year, but this is a team that did go to the Western Conference Finals last year. The Mavericks, the other team they went to the Western Conference Finals against, and it's impossible to say so much about what they are right now because everybody they got that's taller than me is hurt. Okay?
Yep.
Golden State, who went and got a real live temperature-changing player, and everything looks different over there since Jimmy showed up.
Yep.
Hey, man, I don't want to see none of them in the first round. And by the way, in all likelihood, only 2 of them will get there.
I don't want to see Jimmy Butler a revved up and paid. Not like, oh, I need this to go get my money. But I've got my money and now I can just go play. And these new dudes can see what I'm really all about in a playoff series. Nah, I don't want them problems. I've seen him carry an AC to the NBA Finals without Stephen Curry on it. Yeah. He carried a team that had Max Strus and Gabe Vincent. God bless him. Right? No, I'm straight. I don't want them problems. And I think everybody salivated at the thought. Oh, Kevin Durant going to Golden State. That's a nice story. Reunion. He fits right in. Jimmy Butler's a guy who doesn't fit in and therefore is perfect with what they're doing because he is not relying on Stephen Curry or the orbit of Stephen Curry to create shots. He's looking at Stephen Curry and saying, hey, you go spot up somewhere while I go do my thing and I'll find you if I need you.
Yeah, he doesn't.
It's dangerous.
He is a number one capable player who doesn't have to be your number one. Right? But is going to show up with the presence of a number one type of player. He's going to be there every game. Right? And if the number one skill ain't working, cool, we'll move on to do the other thing. But he's going to be able to give you a contribution however it goes. Like, I don't think they're a championship team. Right. And it's in part, nope, not going to say that. Not going to say that. It never goes well when I say things like that. But I don't think they're a championship team.
It doesn't go well when you say things and I'm on the other side.
No. Neither of us needs to be a party to that. You know what I'm saying? None of us need to be a part of that. But I don't think they're that, but I don't think I want to play them. That's where it comes down to. I don't want to play them.
I think if you are Memphis or Houston, you don't want to play them in the first round of a playoff series.
No.
The problem is you don't know what comes after. Once again, any team can be beat when I'm talking about Lakers or Dallas or Minnesota or Golden State. Any of those teams, I believe, are capable of winning a round with whatever means that they win a round in. And then what happens is that old friend fatigue sets in. Everything else that comes in, and we don't think about fatigue as being like this quantifiable skill. Like, nobody likes to say that, nobody likes to believe this when I say this, but yeah, the bad boys got tired. All those years of playoff wars eats on you, and you don't have the energy to get there round after round. Same thing for these old ass teams here. You ain't got it year after year, round after round. At some point, the atrophy is going to hit.
Well, also think about this with Golden State. Understandably, and this is to a degree an ascription of certain attributes onto a person that I think people don't know. But we've operated on the assumption, and I don't think it's unfair to say, that after Nico Harrison basically said, somebody take this loser off our hands and traded Luka Doncic, again, not me saying he's a loser, but Nico definitely said he was a loser. It was a fair assumption to make from a bunch of people that now Luka's going to be incredibly motivated. He's going to grind in a whole nother way based on, XYZ, everything else. Right. Fair, right? We'd agree.
Yeah.
I don't really know why we don't we're not leaning harder on that with Jimmy Butler, a person we've actually seen do the thing in a way that we haven't seen Luka do the thing, right? And that's not to say, I mean, clearly neither of them has gotten past the NBA Finals. They both gotten to the NBA Finals. However, we're going to see if Luka got that in him. I know that Jimmy's got that in him. I know it. And you're adding that to one of the greatest players of all time and an organization that one would assume would at the very least had like institutional memory of how to get it done. Ooh, this is interesting.
I think, look, every year I wind up planning at the Western Conference playoffs. And this year, before the season started, I was like, hey, y'all, can I hang out in the East this year? Because I think the East is going to be a lot more compelling. I feel like I need to relitigate that again because I feel like the West is going to be insane once again. I feel like the West is not going to be at all predictable, Bo.
No, look, the West play-in, which, by the way, for the first time in a while, will not involve the Los Angeles Lakers.
The LeBron Invitational.
Yes, but it's going to be it's going to be a fascinating single elimination-ish tournament because it's not exactly single elimination. But like I said right now, it'd be Minnesota, Dallas, Golden State, and the Kings in it. It is entirely possible that we could switch one of those teams out and put the Clippers in. It is also entirely possible the Kings could drop out and we could put the Suns in there. Like, you're going to have some real star power in the West play-in this go-round, and then some teams that don't necessarily want to see what's on the other side. I'd love to play against Phoenix. That's different. If I'm one of those teams, if you worried about Phoenix, man, you in the wrong line of everything.
Yeah, because I think we can all agree this is the last hurrah, whatever that iteration is.